computer. So at Omni Local Business Networking, this section is called a pitch platform, soon to be changed to Business Insight. What this is your opportunity to let us know exactly what you do. At most other networking organizations, what they say to you is whatever you do not talk about your business, talk about you, let's get to know you. Well, I happen to think that's a byproduct of coming to a networking event on a regular basis and with the one-to-ones and following up conversations once the meeting closes, because your networking doesn't stop when we push send. So if you want to have this opportunity to get everybody's focused attention, even though they may very well be answering emails or phone or whatever, you'll get the whole room's attention, okay? And if you want to talk about butterflies, please feel free to do that, okay? All we know is you know a shed load about butterflies. What I'd rather know is what you do, how you do it. Are you professional enough? Do you have enough wisdom about what you do for me to be able to then trust you with my precious, my very well collected, over time, long time connections that I have. So today we've got Matt. It's your floor, mate. I'll give you till just about 9 o'clock.
Perfect. Yeah, good morning, everybody. So my name is Matt Davis Skeggs from Wealth Strategies. I'm a financial advisor, financial planner, wealth manager. You may call me whatever you want, really, well, within reason. Now, outside of work, I'm an avid Brentford Football Club supporter. I'm a season ticket holder, going to Norwich away tomorrow. Looking forward to hopefully getting a result out of that game. And I also play rugby as well in my spare time. I'm a tight head prop. For any of you that don't watch rugby or don't know much about rugby, I'm one of the fat blokes at the front of the scrum. Now, I'm going to tell you a little story about a client interaction I had recently towards the start of the year that really highlights the value that I can bring to anybody that has an existing pension arrangement. But before I do that, I just want to give a quick insight highlight that we're fast approaching the end of the tax year now. We may only be 3 months into the real year, but we're actually on the last month of the tax year. So I just want to give you a little chat about that. Now, there's valuable annual allowances that I'd much rather you guys use than miss out on. Inflation's tipped to be 7% this month by the Bank of England. So if your cash savings aren't growing at 7%, which I highly doubt they are, then that means that your money, your cash is actually losing its real-time value every single second it's sat in cash. So we can have a chat about the annual allowances available to you and the opportunities that we can have to invest your funds that will give it the best opportunity to then experience capital growth above that rate of inflation, assuming you don't need that cash in the short term. So yeah, the story I wanted to tell you this morning is about a client interaction I had right at the start of the year. So a client came into my office. I mean, I won't share names, obviously, for client confidentiality reasons. Simon. So Simon come into my office with a carrier bag of paper, genuinely like pages and pages of paper. He said, Matt, I've got some pensions. I think I've got 3 pensions in here. I kind of just want to have an understanding of what do I have? What can it provide for me in retirement? And actually, are they invested in line with how I want them to be invested? Are they suitable for my appetite for risk? We sift through the paperwork, and there was indeed details of 3 pension provisions that we'd located, but he said he's sure he remembered there being a 4th. I'm sure he had a pension scheme from a previous job decades ago. And what we advised him doing, what we coached him to do, was register for something called the Pensions Tracing Service. Now, the Pensions Tracing Service is a free government-run organisation, and you can sign up to that. You put details of previous jobs you may have had throughout your career, and they will then tell you whether it's likely that you do have a pension provision that you may have forgotten about, or it might have moved administrators, it might have changed from Legal and General to Reassure and things like that. So the Pensions Tracing Service is the name of that body that allows you to find any pensions that you may have lost or forgotten about. Now, we found this pension for Simon that he had from employers decades ago, back in the 80s. And actually, when we reviewed the policy information of this particular plan, now stereotypically or typically in the world of finance, pension provision allows you to access 25% of your pension free of taxes, and then the other 75% subject to income tax as and when you draw it. But actually, because of the nature of this old occupational scheme that he had from one of his previous roles, it actually entitled him to take his whole pot 100% tax-free, which is a niche feature and something that you won't see every day. But actually, we're able to locate a pension for Simon that he can now access 100% tax-free for him, his family, and his future going forward. Now, 2 of his other policies were just in standard pension provisions. although these wouldn't allow him flexible access to his funds when he wanted and in the manner he wanted. They would only allow him to exchange his cash value, his pot that he's built up throughout his career. They would only allow him to exchange that for an annuity. Now, annuities are fairly aligned with interest rates, and because interest rates are so low, the annuities that people are getting or securing are minimal in relation to the cash value they've built up. So we'd much prefer that he accesses them pots flexibly. We've now brought them into an arrangement, an environment that allows him to take kind of like a tap. He can turn it on and off whenever he wants. He can have as little or as much from his pension, and we can work with him to take those funds in the most tax efficient manner now throughout his retirement and into his future. Now, that was the 3 policies, and the final one we uncovered for Simon actually had some really valuable guaranteed benefits within his plan. So we've reviewed the information, double checked there's no other features that we need to pick up on, but actually the fact that it has this valuable guaranteed benefit built within the policy, we said, you know what, Simon, you're much better off retaining that policy. You need to keep that one where it is. You've got some valuable benefits within that. That's something that we wouldn't be able to provide if we were to move that pension arrangement elsewhere. So when we look at Simon's scenario and the work we've done for him, what Simon got? Simon's got consolidation. He's been able to bring 2 of his policies to one. He's taken the tax-free cash from the other one, and then he's only got one other pension that provides that guaranteed benefit. So he started with 4 policies. He now has 2 policies. Ease of administration, much easier to track performance when working on less amounts of paper. He hasn't got to carry around his paper bag anymore. We've got them all in one place for him to provide access to and to review performance. Simon's also got access to advice now through myself. I now look after that pension scheme where we consolidated the 2 together. He can give me a call as and when he wants. I provide access to ongoing support and advice on an ad hoc basis whenever he may require. And also we have regular meetings set up. So we have agreed to annual reviews and also a 6-monthly Zoom call. We just catch up on, are your goals and objectives still the same? How's business going? Do we need to change any of the plans or the risk profiles for our pension going forward? So we spoke about consolidation, access to advice. He now has access to our distinctive approach to investment management. So with his old policies, they're invested in one fund, which didn't provide any diversification, didn't provide that geographical range of areas that he can invest in. It was just one fund, one type of place that he was invested in, and probably wasn't suitable long-term for his investment objectives going forward. So we now have him in a distinctive approach to investment management, capturing loads of various asset classes, geographical diversification, ensuring that we've mitigated as much of that risk as possible through spreading our eggs in our baskets. We don't want them all in one basket. We want to have that variety of asset class and geographical diversification. He now has knowledge of these valuable benefits. He come in with that carrier bag. What have I got? We now discovered that one pension he's got has got them really valuable guaranteed benefits, and to retain those, keep them where they are, because they'll be really helpful for him in his future going forward. So he wouldn't have had that knowledge if he didn't walk through the door with that carrier bag of pension information. The other thing that he has, now this is something that IFAs, if you go to an independent financial advisor down the road, now they typically charge £1,000 to £2,000 for arranging something called a pensions trust that we work with. Through myself and the company I work with, we provide a pensions trust absolutely free of charge. And now ensuring his pension provisions are allocated to this pensions trust, what that allows him to do is it gives his family, his beneficiaries, his children flexibility on his death with what they want to do with the funds. They can keep the pensions as they are, and they can basically inherit the pension. They can take cash from the pension via the trust. They can take loans from the trust. They can vary the income that they take. Having that trust established ensures that there's flexibility involved, ensuring that beneficiaries' children can access the funds suitable for them and not just in one strict, stringent way. Actually, they do have that variety to be able to do that. And the last thing we got from Simon was a referral to a family friend, which was fantastic. So it shows that the work that I've been able to do and the process that we've gone through to get Simon from a carrier bag of paperwork with no real understanding of what his pensions can provide, actually to now a plan for him going forward, We've got his pensions invested in line with his appetite for risk and in a manner that allows him to access those funds flexibly and in a manner suitable for him going forward. He's then referred me to a friend, and we're now currently working on arranging those pension provisions for his friend. So that's the story of Simon. That kind of gives an overview of the pensions work I do. And I'll be honest, the pensions retirement planning area of work is where I find the most enjoyment from, or I can provide most value to people. As I said, we do all the other insurances, investments, things like that as well, but really the pension provisions, retirement planning is the area that I can provide the most value to you guys. The one last area I do want to talk about, totally separate topic, but I do think it's important to touch on, is inheritance tax planning and inheritance tax mitigation planning. Now, when people think about inheritance tax planning, they think about gifting away assets, gifting away investments. There's always a reservation surrounding gifting away things, and people think, oh, but what if I ever need access to it? And we totally appreciate that. But what if I told you that we have a solution that we can provide that allows you, or the person with the inheritance tax concern, he can make an investment, retain full control to his initial capital. He can take back loans from the initial investment as and when required, but actually allows, what he's gifting away is the growth of the investment. So all of the growth on that investment will now be outside of his estate. So his family, his children, his beneficiaries can enjoy his funds on death without it being diluted by 40% in the form of inheritance tax planning. So I think the two main areas to take away, or two things to think about, would be great, is one, who do you know who has any pension provision? Doesn't really matter the size. We can work to look at what have we got and how can that propel forward into the future. So let me know if you know anyone that has a pension or has various pensions and would like to understand what they've got and whether they're suitable for them going forward. The other area is, who do you know that has a potential inheritance tax concern? Who thinks that their wealth is going to be diluted 40% in the form of inheritance tax? If you give me an introduction, I can have a chat with them and see whether our strategies are suitable to allow him, his family, his beneficiaries, his children to access as much as his wealth on death as possible without it being diluted 40% in the form of inheritance tax. Now, my name is Matt Davis Skeggs from Wealth Strategies, planning for you and your family's future. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much for that, Matt. Well done, mate. Very well presented. It's not a subject that most people are comfortable to talk about, but definitely very well and professionally put together, mate. I appreciate that. I'm just going to stop before we ask for questions. We're going to stop recording. If you do have any questions for Matt, then please, all his details will be covered in the box below the video.